This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree.
Hello and welcome to another episode of LCTV News. I'm Danny Vittori, and this week, local and state politics were on display, benefits were discussed, and cold weather is moving in. Jim Cowdell of EDIC joined us on the Lowdown to discuss future plans for Lynn. Here is the news for Friday, February 3rd, 2023. The entire New England area experienced drought conditions this past year. Surface water storage was reduced, and this made flooding even more severe as short, heavy bursts of rain could not be absorbed into the ground. Therefore, the City of Lynn is once again running their rain barrel program, giving residents the chance to buy rain barrels for their homes at a discounted rate. The barrels can reduce runoff and save homeowners water and money. It also allows water to be slowly reabsorbed back into the ground, reducing the amount of polluted water which makes it to rivers or other bodies of water. To participate in the Great American Rain Barrel program, go to thegreatamericanrainbarrel.com/community. The deadline to apply is March 18th at midnight, and those who purchase barrels can pick them up between 5 and 7 p.m. on April 4th at 20 Commercial Street. Richard Colucci has been the Ward 4 councilor for 31 years, but has announced that he will not be seeking re-election this upcoming fall. He first won the seat back in 1990 in a 9-person race. He lost the next election, but was re-elected in 1995 and has been serving ever since. He helped organize Lynn's first public land auction 20 years ago, and is proud of the work he has done for his ward. He plans to travel with family once his term comes to an end. Several candidates have announced their intent to run for the opening seat. Donna Coppola, the longest-serving member of the school committee, made an announcement last weekend. Natasha McGee-Madry will also be running again. She ran back in 2019 and 2021 when she lost by 59 votes. Last Friday, the 27th, the St. Mary's swim team held a cornhole fundraiser at Hibernian Hall. Members of the team and community members participated in a round-robin cornhole tournament, as well as entered into raffles for various baskets. Here is more.
And we're here at the Hibernian for a cornhole fundraiser. All proceeds go towards the swim team.
We're basically looking for players to have fun. This isn't all about like competitively. Just have a great time, have fun, have drinks, eat food. Just have a great time. Talk to your friends, whatever. Have a great time.
Yeah, so far it's been fun. I just played a round of cornhole upstairs. And the food is great. Snacks are great too. The scratch ticket basket, and there's also a gift card basket, and then 2 snack baskets, I believe.
So we have a restaurant gift card tree. There's $250 worth of restaurants around Lynn. The tickets are $5 for 1 and 3 for 10. And we're going to be pulling the raffles next Thursday, February 2nd at 6 p.m. Me and my husband Dave, we reached out to the Hibernian Hall, and they graciously donated the bottom floor and the top floor for us to have the cornhole tournament. We wanted to do something different that we haven't done before in the past, to try something new.
The City of Lynn has begun the public outreach portion of their website redesign. They are seeking suggestions and comments from the community, which will be used when planning and designing the new website. The wish is for the website to be more user-friendly and formatted in a way that is most intuitive to use. The survey closes at the end of this month on the 28th. To fill out the survey, go to our website, lyntv.org, and click on the link. The complete website redesign will be completed and launched later this year. The raised SNAP benefits due to COVID will be ending in March. The state has launched a new website for people to visit and plan for the ending of these benefits. As of April, additional aid will end and people will be back to their original SNAP benefits, which are based on income and size of their households. For seniors age 60 and older, medical costs above $35 can also be claimed for an increase in benefits. Both seniors and families whose higher SNAP benefits will be ending should look into alternative ways to make up for this decrease in assistance. Saturday the 28th, the Knights of Columbus held a free throw tournament at the Boys and Girls Club. Take a look.
We were having a council-level free throw contest for the Lynn Knights of Columbus free throw. The champions here will move on to the district championship, and then whoever wins there moves on to the regionals and then eventually the nationals. So we've been doing this every year for probably the last 25, 30 years, and we got a pretty good turnout today.
It's important because we need to get the community out, and having all the kids join us and everything, it's very important to be present in the community, because as the Lynn Knights of Columbus, we want more and more to be in our community and help out with different things. So the kids get to come out and have fun and shoot free throws and have a good time, and then potentially move up the rankings and could possibly win nationals. And I actually did it when I was a kid, so it's cool to run it, be the champion now.
I want to thank Robbie chairs the free throw every year, and I'd also like to thank our crew today, Brett Penkel, who's a member of the council, and Tom Donato, also a member of the council, and Luda Packer, who helped out at the table doing the scoring and everything.
I'd like to thank our grand knight, Charlie Rowe, and my girlfriend, Luda Packer, for helping out, and all the kids for coming out, because we had a really good turnout this year. You never know how many kids will actually show up, because there's no, we don't really do pre-registration, so they just show up and register. So it was a very good turnout this year.
This weekend, an extreme cold front is hitting New England, and residents need to stay vigilant to remain safe. Remain informed by receiving alerts before, during, and after the extreme cold. Have a plan that allows your family to safely shelter in place and keep your pets indoors. During the cold, dress in several layers, follow safety guidelines when using space heaters or fireplaces, and if you do lose heat, move to a single room and cover the windows to preserve heat. Run a small trickle of water from your fountains to keep your pipes from freezing. Also, know the symptoms of cold-related illnesses, including frostbite, and seek medical attention if you or someone you know is showing signs. For more tips and information, go to mass.gov or the Lynn Fire Department Facebook page. Several locations will be warming centers, including the Lynn Public Library and the Senior Center. For a complete list of centers, go to lyntv.org. We will continue to update the list with information, including details on overnight warming centers. Senator Brendan Crichton of Lynn recently received the Massachusetts Partnerships of Use Inaugural Champion of Children and Families Award. He is being honored for his work supporting students in Massachusetts and his legislative work which benefits youth in the community. Crichton serves on several boards, including the Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities Joint Committee and the Mental Health, Substance Use, and Recovery Joint Committee. In addition, he was a leading sponsor of the Work and Family Mobility Act and also supported the Healthy Youth Act. The 47th annual Great Stew Chase took place on the 29th with more than 100 runners participating. People of all ages participated to raise money for the Wyoma Lions Club Massachusetts Lion's Eye Research Fund. Here is more.
The Wyoma Lions Club, we are a community membership organization here in Lynn. Our members help in volunteering in many different types of events. We support the community with a few major events, typically around Christmas, Memorial Day, and now we're in January. We're supporting this race. We're really excited about this race. This race is one of the few 15-kilometer races in the United States. It was actually one of the first that started in the United States. We're really proud of this race here in Lynn. And reason for that, it's good to have this race at this time of the year. Most of the races are in spring or in the fall, but this is actually a good race for people that want to get out there and continue training. We saw a lot of participation. We have over 100 people registered for the race, and the weather is just perfect for it. We're really excited about it. It's been over 40 years that this race has been organized. The last 2-3 years it wasn't organized for several reasons, but one of our members stood up and said, hey, this is a really great event and we want to do it. The Wyoma Lions Club has always been involved, but now we actually take a broader part in the organization, and we are doing the full registration and hosting people here.
On deck, the sports update. Lynner Paul Hartford received the Fred Ebbett Award last Saturday, January 29th. Hartford has been teaching Little League in Lynn for 51 years and has been a fan of baseball for his entire life. He mainly coaches kids between the ages of 9 and 12, but he has had kids up to 18. Hartford focuses on hard work and patience when teaching his players. Since he was 8 years old, he saw the importance of coaching when his father was told they were short on coaches when Hartford went to sign up for Little League. The Fred Ebbett Award is given to recognize someone who serves Massachusetts youth by making significant contributions to amateur and youth baseball in their community. Lynn Classical boys basketball team lost 62-50 to Medford on the road and again 47-37 to Malden on the second. Their girls basketball team remains unbeaten at 15-0, trampling Medford 50-19 at home and beating Malden 53-42 on the road. The Tigers girls basketball team had a strong 60-36 win over Greater Lawrence, boosting their record to 9-4 on the year before falling to Northeast Metro 50-47. Lynn Tech boys basketball team beat Pioneer Charter 87-46 to move to 10-2 and clinch a spot in the playoffs. They are also now the Commonwealth Atlantic Small champions after defeating Essex Tech in overtime 76-69 at home on the 27th. Essex were the defending champions, but the Tigers prevented them from going back-to-back. Edric Gonzalez had 22 points, with freshman Andy Batista just behind him with 19. The score was tied at 63 going into overtime, but a strong defensive showing and good ball movement saw Tech come out on top. They then lost to Saugus 70-64 in overtime before winning over Madison Park 65-52 on the second. Their swim and dive team also won the CAC championship on Friday, beating Greater Lawrence on the road 92-75. They are now 4-0 in the division and 4-1-2 overall. Tech girls basketball moved to 10-4, beating Revere 61-35 and earning a spot in the Division I playoffs. Lynn English boys basketball team won on the road 80-36 against the Revere Patriots and scored triple the amount of points as Somerville, downing them 93-30. A battle with Everett ended with English on top 74-56 to protect their undefeated record of 16-0. Their girls team narrowly lost to Everett 59-63, where Bulldog Maddie Lorino scored 30 points and had 14 rebounds. They are now 11-5. St. Mary's boys basketball notched another win, scraping by Bishop Feehan 63-62. Spartan senior David Brown had 27 points to help his team get to 8-2. They then defeated Bishop Fenwick 87-55, with Omri Merriman scoring 19. Their girls team had a similar time, also edging out Feehan 55-50, with the second quarter being the difference. The Spartans went on a 16-5 run, giving them the lead going into halftime, which they were able to maintain in the second half. Nia Morgan of the St. Mary's girls basketball team scored her 1,000th point as a Spartan in a Monday night victory against Winthrop 83-25. She had 27 points on the night, helping her team to their 16th win. They are now 16-1 overall and 5-1 in their conference, tied with Cathedral and 1 win behind Bishop Feehan. Their boys hockey team fell to 9-4 after suffering their second loss in a row, 2-1 to Arlington Catholic over the weekend. Archbishop Williams snapped the girls hockey team's perfect season, handing them their first loss 3-2 in overtime. The Lynn Jets hockey team were only down 2-1 in the third, but ended up losing 5-2 to Greater Lowell. Kip Academy boys basketball has found a rhythm, going 2-0 this past week, including defeating Northeast Metro 72-51, thanks to a dominant second half by the Panthers, while their girls team lost a close game to Notre Dame 37-31. The Boston Celtics stopped a 2-game skid by beating the LA Lakers 125-121 in overtime to remain in first place in the Eastern Conference. Jaylen Brown was back and made an impact with 37 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. They followed this with a 43-point stomping of the Brooklyn Nets on the first. The Celtics scored 46 points in the first quarter, which is the biggest first quarter lead in history. Jason Tatum outscored the entire Nets team in the first 18-16. Both him and Brown scored more than 25 points for the 27th time this season, making it the first time teammates have done so. Boston also hit 48% of their free throw attempts. The Bruins are struggling, having lost their last 3 games to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers, and the Carolina Hurricanes. They broke out of this slump, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2, including a 3-point period by Pavel Zacha, scoring 2 goals, with Brandon Carlo, Derek Forbort, and AJ Greer with the other 3. Linus Ullmark secured another victory with 33 saves on the night. This week on the Lowdown, we welcome Jim Cowdell, the Executive Director of EDIC, to learn more about projects in Lynn. Here is the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on a very special guest. We have Jim Cowdell, the Executive Director of EDIC. Mm-hmm. I use the acronym.
That's okay.
But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Danny. Great to be here.
So, Let's start off easy.
Yes.
What's your role as the executive director?
So what is EDIC, right?
Yes, and what is EDIC?
So EDIC was created in 1977. It's the agency responsible for economic development for the City of Lynn. And so one of the big things that we do is we're a lender. And so we only do commercial loans, not residential loans, at a very low interest rate because it's government-funded money. Either the feds or the state give it to us. And we've been able to help out literally thousands of businesses over the 40-something years we've been in existence. So we're located in City Hall on the top floor. And we're here basically to either do one or two things. Get new businesses to come to the city and keep the ones that we do have here. So, yeah, it's a great job. I'm a Lynn product, so born and raised here, and so it's a great job.
So you're a local, so you've probably seen a lot of changes through your job, through your work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as somebody who's getting up there in age, I can remember a lot of things, you know. I can remember the downtown when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Danny, people came from all over to go to downtown to do shopping. It was, yeah. And then the late 70s came, and the malls came. That's when the malls came to fruition. And so the malls were created. And that really, for a long period of time, the city struggled the downtown with where do we go from here? In fact, probably a lot of viewers won't remember this, but the city said, you know, the mall's a great idea. And they blocked off Union Street and created a pedestrian mall. And almost every business in that stretch went out of business. It was a abysmal failure. So I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. The 80s, there was a lot of drug and prostitution in the downtown that hurt businesses. But now, the pendulum has completely swung, and you're seeing a lot of good things happening in our city, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, because you sent a few images. One of them was of Munroe Street. It looks drastically different than it did before. It looks like before it was just pretty much a parking lot, and now it's...
Yeah, so you can see the picture before and after. So the before, it was basically vacant lot of land. It had been vacant for many years. It produced about $2,000 a year in taxes. Today, and you can see that's a beautiful picture of Munroe Street. You know, there's over 200 people that now call downtown Lynn their home. Of course, COVID has come, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, but there will be a tremendous economic impact because people that are living in the downtown, they'll want to eat in the downtown, spend their money in the downtown. So we're excited about that. That project in the first year brought $1 million into the city coffers. So it really, and that money is unrestricted. It goes towards police and fire, et cetera. So, but, you know, we took a vacant lot and we created over 200 apartments there.
It looks very nice. And you mentioned it before, too, trying to bring business in. One of the things you mentioned, and I remember they did a tour, was for life science, trying to attract some of those businesses to the city as well.
Yeah, we need jobs, you know. Back in the 80s, I worked at the GE. We're seeing smaller jobs opening up, you know, but it would be nice to land a life science that brings not only jobs to the city, but they would partner with the Lynn Tech, our school, and North Shore Community College. So it would be jobs for Lynn people, and they're really good paying jobs. And that's what we're shooting for. We had a developers tour, as you mentioned. We had over 70 people come that wanted to see specific sites to see if they could open up life sciences here. So that's just an example of some of the things we're trying to do right now.
Which is great. It definitely sounds like it gets a lot of attention, too, because it's Lynn is one of, what do you say, only 2 municipalities in Massachusetts that's a member of the Mass Bio Council. That's impressive.
Yeah, and so we go to the meetings. We're always networking, trying to recruit. If I can't sell Lynn, I've been here my whole life, then I'm in trouble, right? I shouldn't be in this job. So it's an easy sell for us. And as I said, we really want people to be able to work and live here. So.
And kind of running into that, I said, you mentioned Munroe Street, which is a project that's been completed. Another thing you mentioned was the Linway Mart, which is kind of an in process. Like it hasn't been completed, but it is an idea that you had. So you sent a few images of that too, which did you want to talk about what you wanted to create there? So
Danny, when you look at the Linway, you really see mistake after mistake. It's on the Atlantic Ocean. You see used car you know, dealerships, you see fast food restaurants, et cetera. And so we had a waterfront master plan developed after 19 public meetings, so everybody had a chance. And so like the Linway Mart, which has recently been torn down, so that's not there now, but that was a flea market right on the Atlantic Ocean. So that's being replaced, this is December. The end of this month, you'll start to see construction of the first phase, which is that beautiful building on the right. First floor commercial space, and then residential. And then you'll start to see the waterfront develop. There are major plans for the waterfront.
Yes.
So, yeah, and so this is the next view. So in the middle where it says Harbor Park, that was a landfill. So when I was a kid, the city's trash was brought there. I mean, it's right on the ocean. So that is being transformed from the current landfill into a 30-acre park. Because one of the things that came out of those public meetings was people wanted not just to see, housing on the waterfront. They wanted housing, but they wanted shops and restaurants. But they also wanted a place where you could bring your family and just, have some nice green space. So the governor was here yesterday, right? And he couldn't believe, we took him up top, he couldn't believe the views that are up on top. And so you're going to see over the next 2 to 3 years the creation of that harbor park. And that's some more details of it. There'll be ball courts, there'll be paths, but basically it's opening up an area, and I keep saying, but I've lived here my whole life, we've never gone down there. You'd have no reason to go down there. It'll open it up for generations to come, and people will come from all over to see that. It's very similar to Spectacle Island, and so, yeah, so it'll really be transformative.
Definitely looks like it. I said I love the idea of a park and so much more right next to the ocean, even like Red Rock Park that we have. I love going there because it does. It's amazing views and it's just such a great place to go and do. I'm trying to read all this, so many different things and so many views too. It's
important as we're developing our waterfront. You don't want to have every inch covered with buildings. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for restaurants and shops, but we're also looking for housing. But we want people to be able to come down and enjoy the beautiful ocean. So,
definitely.
Similar to Lynn Shore Drive, as you referenced, right?
Yes, similar to that, which definitely. I mean, grew up in Swampscott, so I love the ocean. I love getting to come down and see it. It's one of my favorite parts of it. And another thing you mentioned, getting off slightly, but another thing you had mentioned before was how much you not only adding additional businesses, but helping existing ones, like with COVID relief. You had a huge piece of that from the numbers that you sent.
We keep trying to put COVID in the rearview mirror. It impacted businesses. You'd have to go back to the Great Depression to find something that had such a horrific impact on businesses. How about this for a fact? 1 out of 4 restaurants across the country closed their doors forever. Forever. And so I think I sent over some of the money that we distributed for COVID. Oh, there it is, And so you can see that we gave out almost $10 million to 766 businesses. And really a great stat that a little bit over 80% of those businesses were minority female owned. And so I was really proud of that. But you can see that it was not just EDIC, it was the feds, the HUD, as well as state. And then the mayor and the city council, Mayor Nicholson and the city council authorized $3 million in ARPA funds. And we haven't given, you can see there's still 123,000 left. So if there are any businesses out there that haven't applied, apply, because we still have a little bit of money left. But businesses were really impacted negatively by COVID, and so they're still trying to, they didn't need loans, they needed grants to pay their electric bill, to pay their leases, and so that has really been very rewarding. I think at least 25% of the folks that we gave checks to, they had tears in their eyes, they were so appreciative of it, so it has really been rewarding, so.
And even just here on Union Street, I can see there's so many locally owned businesses, family owned businesses that they're unique and they're here, and you would hate to see them close because of that.
No, like my Guatemala bakery, for instance, right over here, right? You come down there on a Saturday morning and people are coming down for their pan, their bread, drastically impacted by COVID because, people couldn't come and it really hurt. But So COVID, we're trying to put it in the rearview mirror. There's still a little bit of money to give out for businesses that haven't applied yet.
And one final thing I'll ask you about is, I'm going to mess up his name, Soliarn?
Solion, yeah, that's a company.
you say this.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's what, listen, nobody online knows who they are, so that's okay.
So that's why we're mentioning it. You
that's
said
right.
they are coming to
That's right. So we talk about jobs, right?
Yes.
So Solion is a startup company, right? They have like 7 employees now. They are about to take off. And so it says on the slide that they manufacture smart textiles. But what they, one of the things they landed a big contract within the last couple of months with the Department of Defense. They make waterproof tents. So the Army love them. They make not water resistant, but waterproof garments. And so they're landing these huge contracts. So they're going to expand rapidly. So they're located on Farrar Street, which is downtown Lynn. And so the Mayor Nicholson, myself, we really courted them. And we worked hand in hand with the state so that they would come here. So they will be here. They closed on the property on Farrar Street, very timely, about 10 days ago. So they just closed on that property. Yep. And so you'll see that property being built out. And as it says, they'll create 105 jobs over 5 years. These are high-paying jobs. They're $87,000 a year. So we gave them a tax incentive to come to Lynn, but the deal was this. We'll give you the tax incentive, but you're going to hire Lynn people, right? And so they understand that. So that's what they'll be doing. They'll be partnering with Lynn Tech as a feeder program. Many of the jobs are machinist types jobs, which is perfect, as a feeder out of Lynn Tech. But these are $87,000 a year average salary. That's what we need in the city. We need jobs that people can afford, to buy property here, to stay here. And so we're really psyched about that. Just happening. Probably takes 6 to 10 months on the build out. So we're a little bit of ways, but very timely. Yeah.
It is perfect timing.
Yes,
for this.
that's right.
I'll pretend like I planned that.
Good job.
Well, you have so many amazing things going on, and I want to thank you again for coming on to talk about it, give more information to everyone in Lynn about what's going on. Yeah,
I mean, if anybody's out there that's looking to start up a job or a business, come see us. One of the things we offer for free, we work with the chamber on this, is if you have an idea, like let's say you've been passionate about opening up a restaurant, but you really don't know, where to go next. We help create a business plan for you so that is a document that you could take to a lender or you could take it to us to finance it. So if you come to us and you say, I need 10,000 square feet of space, we can help you find that space. So we work with all the brokers, but this is a great city. It really is. I know that people outside of the city, sometimes they only hear bad things about us, but as you know, this is a really nice city. Best people I've ever met in my life are from Lynn, so I'm really proud of the city and what we're doing. Oh, it is. It's a phenomenal city. Yeah. It really is great. And thank you again for coming on to talk about it. Yep. And I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week with more guests. Now, the community calendar. The City of Lynn Planning Department is holding a public meeting for the Lynn Harbor Park project on February 9th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. This meeting will be provided in English and Spanish, with materials being offered in several additional languages upon request. Those in attendance can learn more about the latest plan for the creation of a new park on Lynn's waterfront. They can also give input as to what they feel are the most important pieces when designing the park. Also on the 9th, in celebration of Black History Month, the Gallery at Lynn Arts is presenting Reflecting the Times, works of art by local Black artists. The exhibit opens on the 3rd and will be on display until March 16th. Gallery hours are Thursdays 1 to 4 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The display is composed of work from local Black artists covering a variety of mediums and techniques. In a jam-packed Thursday, there will be another installation of Community Conversations at 6 p.m. at the Community Brotherhood Club. The history of the African American experience in Lynn
will be discussed. Organized by Prevent the Cycle, they are hosting 5 more conversations to build upon their festival. They are meant to unify the local community by holding discussions and discuss divisive issues. For more on the events mentioned and all city events, visit our community calendar at lyntv.org. That is all the news for this week. Follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television to stay up to date on all the latest announcements and city events. Also, subscribe to Lynn Community Television on YouTube to watch our community videos, member shows, and event coverage. Visit our website, lyntv.org, for our community calendar, videos, and press releases. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.